All right. First bit of news. We have some updates on the Sarah Bond Xbox departure situation. So, The Verge came out with a new report, and here's some TLDR. We're going to read the full article here in a second. But Charlie Intel says that Xbox Anywhere was Sarah Bond's plan. Now, we literally talked about this on the podcast yesterday. It should be dropping today for your listening pleasure. Again, thank you all for the support. And make sure, again, if you are on YouTube, please subscribe. Please subscribe when you're trying to make it out of the projects. So maybe, hopefully, I don't have to continue working corporate jobs. But anyways, so we discussed this situation, and I think it's as clear as day. Again, we're never going to fully know unless Sarah Bond and maybe Phil or somebody else in the know says something. But we know it's not going to come immediately, and whoever says it's going to be anonymous at this point, because again, they ain't trying to kiss that heat. But I believe that Sarah Bond's all of a sudden resignation was not planned, of course, and she was literally the scapegoat, and she was thrown under the bus. And it sucks, especially as a black woman in that position. I don't think that Sarah Bond was the sole reason. I don't even think that she was a major part of the reason as to why Xbox made these most recent decisions. And I don't think she was the sole reason or the majority reason as to why like Xbox essentially like alienated their core fan base and has not been making some of the best decisions in my opinion. So they said to continue here, this is an Xbox. So, we did that. This is an Xbox. Everything is an Xbox. They said that ad was also her idea, and it offended many people internally. Now, again, I know that as a CEO or being someone high up, you are the major person that makes these decisions, right? And a lot of times we have seen that when you're at the tippy top, you typically are a little bit tone deaf. Like you lose sight of what it means to be at the bottom. You lose sight of your consumer base. So I do acknowledge that. I fully acknowledge that. But there has to be somebody that, if this is true, again, this is alleged. If this is true, who are you consulting with as Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, even Matt Booty? We're going to throw him in there too, because you've been hanging in the shadows. But what are you truly doing here? What are you truly doing here? You got promoted after this happened, right? So everybody keep talking about Asha, but Matt Booty got promoted low key. A lot of people then, it's always like those secret things that happen in the background. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? So anyways, where's the consulting happening? If y'all were truly offended about that, then why did this even get greenlit, right? Why did this even get greenlit? I felt like Xbox in the last 5 years has truly lost their identity. They lost their direction. I think that there were some good things that happened. I think that Game Pass was ultimately a good thing, but Game Pass is showing its chinks in its armor right now. So I don't know if they are going to continue to go all in on that. But again, the main decision that they have made over the past 5 years is pretty much stop the exclusives, especially for the Xbox, like the console itself. We're going to do Xbox and PC. So anything that comes to Xbox is going to come on PC. So that was that, which was a good thing in my opinion, because again, I don't want to have to be forced to own an Xbox just to play those games. So it was good for me being a mainly PC gamer, but I can see how that offended some of the console only gamers. But that wasn't, again, the biggest thing. We know the biggest thing was basically putting your big three. I mean, it was already a thing when it was like, I'm gonna put these third party exclusives on to the ops, which is Sony, and you putting those games over there. But the real offense to basically your entire fan base was Halo, Forza, and Gears coming over to Sony, your essential big three at this point, right? So once they came over there, it's like, what is the point of owning an Xbox? What is the point of even being in this ecosystem anymore? There's really no point. I also think that, in my opinion, I think the biggest offense to the bottom line, which is the almighty dollar, the whole Activision acquisition, I mean, we all know why they acquired Activision. It was for Call of Duty and Call of Duty only, because Activision doesn't really make any other games. They forgot that they even owned other IPs, right? Activision forgot that they even owned any other IPs. So you bought Activision for Call of Duty, and your biggest venture of 2025 was seeing how Black Ops 7 performed with this whole new model, right, of Game Pass. So y'all increased the Game Pass prices, and y'all said, hey, you can only play Black Ops 7 if you get this highest tier of Game Pass. If you have the mid tier or the low tier, you can't play it day one, right? Or you can't play it at all. It's not even going to be available to you. So they made that move. And then Battlefield 6 came out, right? Battlefield 6 came out and destroyed Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 just did not end up being what the core Call of Duty fans wanted. So you lost twice, right? You lost twice. The Game Pass model people didn't like. What up, Paladin? The Game Pass model people didn't like because you were forced to buy the highest tier and you raised the prices. And Battlefield 6 ended up being a superior shooter for being dormant for so long, and even EA and DICE failing on 2042, but coming back and making the banger with Battlefield 6. There's some weird stuff going on now with Season 2, but I digress. In its heyday, when Battlefield 6 came out, Battlefield dominated Black Ops 7, and I don't think anyone could have predicted the belt of ass that Black Ops 7 received, right? So you didn't immediately get any ROI on that. You didn't get any ROI. On top of that, and I feel like a lot of people tend to lose past this point, from a monetary standpoint, it makes sense to still keep Call of Duty on all of the consoles. But if you're acquiring such a big entity like Activision for Call of Duty, I'm not gonna lie, you probably should have kept it exclusive. You probably should have kept it exclusive to make sure that those people stay in your ecosystem. I know that Phil didn't want to do that. Phil was pretty much tired of the console wars. But at the end of the day, regardless of how I feel and how petty the whole console wars argument is and attaching yourself to a piece of plastic, the reason why people buy consoles or buy certain platforms are to play those exclusives. Other than that, there is literally no other major reason for you to buy a console or subject to that ecosystem. And it's been like that for a while. You get Nintendo because you want Mario, because you want Zelda. You get Xbox because you want a Halo, you want a Forza, you want a Gears. You get a PlayStation because you want God of War, you want Ratchet and Clank, you want Uncharted. You want those franchises, and you want to know that, hey, there is only one place that I can play these games. You know, that's the whole reason why you're getting these consoles. It's been like that since the beginning. So for Xbox to completely abandon that, see how this ended up being in this situation. Again, from a consumer standpoint, from a personal standpoint, I'm like, yeah, forget the console wars. But from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. You're alienating everybody. So again, going back to the major point, Xbox has lost its identity. Okay, I don't know if there were some internal struggles going on, but I think that Xbox bet on too much with Bethesda and Activision. And that ultimately led to Phil Spencer. Again, in my opinion, he said he retired, but I think that he was forced out. And I believe they, gave the guise of him retiring to save face. They're like, hey, you can leave on your own accord. But Sarah over there, nah, she gonna go with you, bro. She gonna go with you. Y'all trying to make her the heir, make her the successor. Nah, we gonna blame all this stuff on her too. And she out of here, bro. She out of here. So what up, Spencer? So yeah, I don't know. Like, these decisions weren't great from a business standpoint. They were not good from a business standpoint. Yeah, they bought up too many studios. Y'all acting like y'all were printing money, which, I mean, Microsoft has been, but for the Xbox division, we weren't seeing really anything positive from the studios that you acquired. And then on top of that, you closed studios. How you gonna buy studios and then close studios? Doesn't make any sense, right? So continuing on here, they said the writing on the wall. This is an Xbox ad, and Xbox Anywhere was the writing on the wall for Sarah and Phil to leave. And to finalize this tweet, said people internally are relieved that Sarah Bond is gone. Now that one I'm going to push back on. What do you mean, bro? Y'all were relieved that Sarah Bond, a black woman, was gone? Nah, bro. Nah. I'm not rolling with that, bro. I'm not rolling with that. Was Sarah Bond the tyrant or something? Because again, behind the scenes, maybe I'm not ruling it out. But y'all just gonna say that y'all were relieved that Sarah Bond was gone? Like, really? They were just reminded about it through Sarah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was the scapegoat, man. I did not like the way that they handled a lot of this stuff. And I do not like the way that they treated Sarah. I do not like the way that they treated Sarah. And I can't believe I'm defending her, but I genuinely like Sarah. Not just because she was a black woman. She was a fine black woman. But I don't think that these decisions were solely on her, bro. And they put a lot on her, bro. They put a lot on her. And regardless of what Xbox fans will tell you, because they're gonna stay up and down, they're gonna swear up and down that they did not like Phil because of how it was in the last 5 years, the decision in the last 5 years. But Phil turned around Xbox. No, if you're a realist, if you're logical, that Phil turned the Xbox brand around when he came into play, bro. Phil was a genuinely likable person, and he played games. He actually played games. Unlike this next person who she's sus right now, she questionable. But Phil actually played games. Phil actually cared about Xbox. He cared about video games, and it felt like he understood video games. So again, I'm not going to say that all these decisions were solely on Phil and Sarah, and definitely, heavy emphasis on Sarah. But yeah, they got to take some accountability, but I just don't like the fact that people are putting all of the accountability on one person more than the other. Okay, they're putting a lot more accountability on one person more than the other. But overall, both of them were in tandem. But again, I still don't think that the majority all their decisions that led to the retirement and the resignation. Okay, or the stepping down. All right, that $30 Game Pass, Fortnite Game Pass, yeah. Said that Scale No Game Pass, yeah. I didn't like this in my Scale No Game Pass either, especially in this economy. Like these subscription services every year, every single subscription service ends up going up, and I'm like, why, bro? Like this isn't like the housing market. You don't have to go up in price every single year. Who told y'all that? And they always say the same thing, to keep up with the quality, we're going to raise the price, and then it ends up being the exact same product. You're doing nothing new. Literally doing nothing new here. We're going to introduce new products, new features. Y'all aren't doing anything that's different, that's justifiable for raising these prices. So yeah, but in the video game industry, yeah, nobody liked that y'all were raising the price of the Game Pass. And especially hearing the news that, allegedly some of Game Pass isn't profitable. So it's a lot of things sus with this situation. I really hope that one day Phil, or I really want Sarah. Like, Sarah, if you end up watch this video, come on the pod or something. Like, tell your side of the story. I want to hear that. Tell your side of the story. What truly happened here? What truly happened? Come on. You out of there, just go ahead and spill the beans. Give us the tea on what happened, because I need to know. Next Xbox Showcase is going to be the same without those two. Yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be. So going further into this full article here, I'm going to try to skim through it. A little bit. Says picking Bond for the role, Microsoft promoted Asha, former Microsoft AI executive, which again, people are like, what the hell? Like an AI executive who allegedly don't play no games either. They already exposed her. Looked at that gamer score. They're like, girl, please. So I just don't know what's going on with that. Let's see. The kickoff day of chaos. 14 decide Xbox. We're hearing the news first through reporters and news outlets instead of via internal. Yeah, you gotta. I feel like that's always a thing too, man. Like, how do all of this news like leak out, and people are hearing the news from social media? and news outlets before like internally y'all share this news. Like, who is doing this stuff? Right? There's too many insiders, too many people who just cannot keep their mouths shut that are like exposing this information. I would feel terrible too if I was fired via social media and I didn't even know. That's tragic, especially if you a high ranking person and getting fired via social media is crazy. Or find out the news via social media is insane. It said you don't think a lot of decisions last year, but yeah, I don't think so either. No accountability in corporate America. Yeah. Not just a black employee, but they be scapegoating anybody who they can. Anybody who's not down with the program, they gotta go. Anybody who's not down with the program gotta go. So it said the team runs Sarah Bond's social media account was so unprepared that LinkedIn post inviting people to provide feedback. Yeah, what they said. They already called her. It was like 4 hours after the news dropped. They saw Sarah responding on LinkedIn like she didn't get fired. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Said sat there for hours until Bond team eventually posted her own memo. Hold on, let me see if this memo. If the memo pops up. Okay, so yeah, this is what I wanted to see here. I didn't get to read this full thing. The Sarah gratitude, the note I sent to my team today. Grateful to our players, developers, partners, and team. Forever a fan of Xbox. She said, "Hi team, I know there's a lot of news to take in today. I'm incredibly proud of what we built together over the past 8+ years. PC and cloud gaming are going faster than ever. Our next console is well underway, which she acknowledged that. And together we've helped lay the foundation for a more open gaming platform that spans devices and reaches players around the world. When we announced our intention to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we navigated that moment together and positioned that business for what comes next. We took on some of our biggest challenges this organization has ever faced and did it as one team." So this PR is very PR so far. Obviously, especially on LinkedIn, you're not gonna crash out on LinkedIn. That would be funny though. Like crash it out. What's wrong with you? With that, I was like, this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally. We're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry, and I'm energized by what's ahead. This moment also presents a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership to guide the team into its next chapter. Yeah, I mean fresh eyes, but is it the eyes that we truly need? I don't know, man. It ain't looking good so far. I'm gonna say that it just ain't looking good so far. She ain't really started yet, but it ain't looking good. She continues. I've had the privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks, and we plan for this transition. Oh, so she says that says she already knew about it. I'm still not full of belief because it sounds a lot like my situation. To be honest, sounds a lot like my situation. So I'm gonna be fully transparent. I don't know if I fully said it, but I found out in January, like literally beginning of January, that my position was going to get eliminated from my job. And they gave me a month, I don't think they wanted me to crash out. But I will say that generally in the IT department at my previous job, nobody got the opportunity to stay there. Everybody who got fired, they got fired on the spot. And they couldn't even go and get their stuff. And if you're in the corporate world, you know how that is. Whether you did good or bad, if they fire you on the spot, then if you're there already, you get walked out. You can't even get your stuff. You get your stuff later. And you don't even get a chance to say goodbye. You don't get a chance to send an email. So I got a month. To transition, to say my goodbyes. And then in February, I got officially let go. So I got to say my goodbyes. I sent out an email and it was similar to this. I ain't crash out. But I may have wanted to a little bit, but I did it. So I got to send an email. I thanked everybody, and I left my personal information if anybody wants to still stay in touch with me or whatnot, right? But people didn't get to do that. People generally don't get to do that, and it sounds a lot like this situation. They probably told her, "Hey, we're going to make the decision to eliminate your position. We're going to let you go. You're out of here, but we're going to give you time to speak to the new person who's going to take your spot, and then we're going to transition. Sounds so much like it. Again, can't confirm it, but I'm leaning towards that's what it was. So to continue here, she said, I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. You bring deep technology and commerce experience again, but that's not. Is that what we want in gaming? No. Along with the strong track record of building and scaling platform that the world uses, again, AI. Xbox deserves this. Do we? Do we, Sarah? I'm excited to see her lead this next chapter for our team. I don't think you excited, especially if you got let go and you didn't leave on your own accord. I remain as a special advisor, consultant, a consultant, which means Asha doesn't know how to do her fucking job. Excuse my language. She doesn't know how to do her job. So you're going to be, again, you're going to be consulting, and you're going to continue to consult your replacement here to help ensure a smooth transition and set the organization up for continued success. I want to thank Phil for his mentorship and friendship over the years. He's been a consistent champion of this business and the people who make it what it is, and I've learned a great deal from the way he leads through both opportunity and challenge. I'm grateful for his trust and support throughout my time on the team. I also want to thank Satya for his sponsorship and support throughout my time at Microsoft. As I prepare to sign off, I've been reflecting on 3 simple questions I've tried to use to guide my days. Did I bring my best? Did I help someone else succeed? Did I do my best work? I hope the answer has been yes for many of you. It's been a privilege to work alongside the team. So, I mean, we got to take it for what it is, even though I don't believe it, but you know, we gotta do our proper send off for Sarah.
Excellent.
Gotta do our proper send off for Sarah. Where is my?
I really miss my nigga. Just a breakdown. Really miss my nigga. White people.
But yeah, I'm sensing cap. I want to hear the real story, Sarah. I want to hear the real story. You know, you can be a nigga with me, man. Like, go ahead. Tell us what really happened. Tell us what really happened, Sarah. I need to know. All right, so going back to this article, let's see if there is anything else. So some Xbox employees have been speaking with saw the writing on the wall, which we saw. She was promoted Xbox president in October 2023, just days after Microsoft finalized the deal to get Activision Blizzard. Okay. So Dory. So who is this person? Kareem Choudhury, who reported directly to Bond. Departed Microsoft and triggered another shakeup of some teams inside Xbox. Chaudhry was key to Xbox backward compatibility support. Okay. Just weeks after this person departed, former Xbox chief marketing officer Jared West also left Microsoft in June 2024. Okay, that meant the Xbox marketing team was also reporting directly to Bond. Interesting. So Sarah ended up getting the marketing portion, huh? Okay, and then delivered the marketing campaign, saying people don't need to buy an Xbox console anymore. So they're like, we don't like that. And then this is the Xbox campaign. Okay. Yeah, then Xbox hardware revenue decline. I mean, so, I mean, if you say you don't need to buy an Xbox anymore, you can play an Xbox anywhere, then what do you expect to happen? I just didn't think that was a good decision. Just don't think that was a good decision. Okay, let me see. Here comes the team. I already knew it was gonna happen. That most of the current and former Xbox employees I spoke to in recent days are relieved that Bond is leaving Microsoft. I've heard from multiple sources that Bond has been tough to work with. Again, I don't know. I can't confirm what's going on in the background. She could be yelling at people. She could be a tyrant. But this is also a very, very negative stereotype towards black women. I want y'all to really pay attention to that. You say that she's tough to work with. A lot of black women, especially in the corporate world, get that trope. I don't like it. It's very negative, very toxic. They said she's tough to work with and built a team structure that meant if you don't follow the vision or question it, you were out. Okay. I think there's something else to that. But again, I'm not gonna fully rule it out because there is a possibility, but I just don't like that negative connotation there. Most have praised her ability to strike partnerships with companies and developers, though. Okay, but if she's getting to the bottom line, and if that's your bottom line, the bottom line is always a dollar bill, then what's the problem? No, oh no, man. Say Bond has staked their career reputation on the idea of Xbox being everywhere across multiple platforms and devices. This also involved carefully managing her image, both internally and externally, making her appear to be a. Oh, they saying Sarah Bond wasn't a gamer, which I've heard things about her too. I've heard things about her too, but I mean, I still think that Sarah Bond is more of a gamer than the next person. You both y'all ain't really showing me much, so. So they're saying she also wasn't a gamer. So they're saying she was sus too. They're saying she was sus too. Okay. I understand that Bond's strategy has been failing internally and both questioned multiple times. Bond has tried to push mobile and cloud over console to reach potentially millions more Xbox customers, but the result has been a classic case of chasing tomorrow's customers by neglecting today's. So why do y'all think that Asha is going to come in here and do any better? If y'all saying that Sarah failed doing this and focusing more on gaming in the cloud, and y'all think Asha with AI is going to do any better? I just don't know if that is going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case. So let's see. Phil Spencer's retirement seemed inevitable to Xbox employees, which I mean, we all seen it coming. That's why we all said that Sarah Bond was going to end up taking the throne, but both of them end up leaving. I'm like, damn. It's in February last year, Spencer took a long vacation and was told some teams had to wait weeks for sign off on some key changes. Dang. Shortly after the vacation, rumors started circulating inside Microsoft that Spencer was getting ready to retire. So they already saw it coming. Microsoft was visibly forced to deny the rumors, claiming that he won't be retiring anytime soon. Yeah, all right. So now Microsoft is hitting the reset. They are hitting the reset, and Asha, the new CEO, is promising the return of Xbox. So I really want to know what that means. The return of Xbox. We will see. She had been very active on social media since the announcement. Some good, some a little questionable. But we'll see. We'll see. Some Xbox employees worry she'll force AI into everything. I mean, I think that's a pretty logical take. Okay. That's a pretty logical take. And saying Sharma was clearly ready for that reaction. She was clearly ready for that reaction. Yeah. The other concern is she's been appointed by Nadella as some kind of executioner of the Xbox console. Her memo doesn't suggest that, and Microsoft could have easily appointed Matt Booty into that kind of role to push game publishing instead of the Xbox console. I get the impression from sources that Microsoft wants to turn around and is worried about losing Xbox as it's one of the only remaining successful consumer brands. They say that Sharma is better. They better describe her as enthusiastic, willing to learn, and very capable of getting teams to execute on a clear vision rather than coming in as a product executioner. She also has a history of Instacart and Meta, of overseeing platforms launching and getting people used to use the product. The type of user acquisition that Xbox has failed at in recent years. Sharma's non-gaming credentials don't mean she can't do a good job. Which again, I'm trying to throw her some bail. I'm trying to throw her a little bit of bail here. Because we can't just fully judge and just say that she's going to do a worse job. Okay, we gotta give her some time. But it will still be a tough gig to step into the shoes of Phil Spencer, who is widely respected inside and out of Microsoft. So yeah. That's that. So we'll see, but definitely some interesting verbiage here. Definitely some interesting verbiage. So they definitely are trying to paint Sarah as the mad black woman. They're trying to paint her as the mad black woman. I don't like that. Saying that she was tough to work with, and these decisions were all hers, and they didn't make any sense, and that would lead to Xbox's decline in their hardware. Again, none of this said that Phil did anything. This says that Sarah Bond did all this stuff. Not rolling with it. So to continue on here, and speaking of the new CEO here, the new Xbox head is worried about birth rates, but says AI will save us.
You what?
Again, what does that have to do with gaming, people? What does this have to do with gaming? You're already talking about AI, Asha, with your Yeti mic. You could tell. Anybody, I don't trust too many people who still had this damn Yeti mic. Get you a damn professional mic and stop using that crap. 5 months ago, Asha Sharma talked about how AI could. Oh no, okay. So this isn't recent, but okay, they pulled up the receipts on her. They pulled up the receipts on her. She talked about how AI could turn around declining fertility rates. Let's see what she says. After the shock resignation of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond from Xbox last week, the Game Awards is attempting to piece together exactly what will happen next to Microsoft gaming brand, especially under the auspice of a new leader, Asha Sharma. Why has someone with a background in AI and not gaming been put at the helm? And wait, she said, what about birth rates and AI? Big tech's obsession with birth rate figures is something that should certainly make you feel uncomfortable, given it's usually about half a step removed from matters far more sinister, which is why it's disappointing to hear Asha Sharma in an interview on a podcast for 5 months ago saying that the thing she thinks about the most, other than GPUs, is whether her son will have classmates in the future. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely on the realm of like white nationalist talk. That's in the realm of white nationalist talk. So let's continue here. Let's see. So she said this is because she said fertility rates are declining. The average birth rate in the 90s when we were growing up was like 3, and now it's 2.3. And in 2050 is estimated to be below replacement. This is strange on its own and also completely wrong, but her next words made it far more weirder. I think that AI can have such a big effect on it and already is. Sharma goes on to give examples of this, like how she's heard about a hospital in London that's using AI to improve fertility rate success of IVF, the amazing story of how ChatGPT-5 is helping in healthcare, and how Stanford was a big customer of hers using AI for tumor reviews. Of course, the reason for the declining birth rates in the US is multifactorial, but almost certainly primarily about income. Yeah, which again, if you're not fully aware, it's not that people don't want to have kids anymore. It's that people realize, especially the newer generation, Gen Z and upcoming Gen Alpha, they are of more of an understanding, which I mean, I can understand why, but I think at the end of the day, you still should have a goal before you die to try your best to like leave a legacy, and that's not just money and resources, but also like kids. Again, I'm not saying that you have to have kids, and it's maybe not a goal for everybody, but I think that it is important to at least leave some sort of legacy when you pass away. So going back to what I was saying, Gen Z and upcoming Gen Alpha, they simply were like, hey, I can barely afford to live on my own, so why the hell do I want to have kids? And it's something that I feel like a lot of other people in my generation and later should have also thought about, because there are certain people who just shouldn't have kids at all. If you're struggling, if you're in poverty, the last thing that you should want is a damn kid. Like straight up, because kids are expensive. You already can't take care of your damn self. We're in this weird economy, so why the hell would you want to bring a kid into this mess? And then all of y'all struggling. So that's really the main reason, honestly. That's really the main reason. Not that people don't want to have children, it's that they simply are more understanding that they can't afford kids. They can't afford kids. So it said, but in 2020 is a far more costly prospect, and people in big tech were generally concerned about the number of children being born. Their attention will be wholly focused on making Americans live more affordable, providing better benefits, and supporting increasing wages. I mean, yeah, you would. Again, the logical thing here. That's a logical thing, you know. Increase the wages. If money is going to be the end all be all, and you've seen that people are barely able to live because they're not making enough money, then let's do something about it. Let's do something about it. Not saying, hey, we're going to use AI and tech in order to make you all have more kids or make it easier for you all to have more kids. Again, I'm not totally against. I mean, I think that if you truly want to have a kid, I mean, using things like IVF if you're having fertility issues is a good thing. True. If AI can help in healthcare, I mean, it's not a bad thing. But again, it sounds more nationalist coded here than you truly worried about like the overall population of the world because you're saying, hey, my kid may not even have classmates. I think that's very morbid there. That you're like, hey, it's not gonna be enough kids in the class. Like next time I don't think that's gonna be the case. But again, you gotta realize the perspective of someone who's not in the same situation as you. You know, not everybody has the life that you have. Not everybody has the money and resources that you have. So I think that it's very logical to be like, hey, if I can't afford to live comfortably on my own, then I'm not bringing children into this world. So saying not say on place of work is with it, and then we have AI also take their jobs. I need to get that as a soundbite. Take their jobs. But yeah, and then AI is gobbling up jobs too. So then more people are going to be displaced and not have a job. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Said fertility rate wavered between 1.9 and 2.0 in the 1990s. It has been close to or claimed 3 since the mid 60s. It dipped to low 1.6 at a steadily decline following the financial crash of 2008. But in recent years has begun to recover. It's back up to 1.8 in 2025. So in fact, the difference of 0.1 since Farmer's heyday. Baby birds, okay. I mean, so we'll see. We'll see. I thought she said that recently, but it was 5 months ago. So kind of a bait article, but I say Asha. If you listen to the podcast whenever that drops, or if you end up watching this video because you have been, I may put out a tweet because you have been responding to people. Asha, going back to the whole Xbox thing. Here's my advice. Here's my advice for you. With your background, people are already thinking that the Xbox is dead, right? So you're already on a negative slope. You're already on a negative slope. On top of that, people already saw your gamer tag that you gave out and see that you don't play any damn games. So they're like, why bring in somebody who doesn't even play games? Which newsflash, gamers, even though we don't like it, the majority of people who end up in these positions don't interact with the product that they have been tasked to, or the server that they have been tasked to, quote unquote, right the ship on. A lot of people who get in these higher positions know jack squat about what they're doing. They just come in because they have a particular set of skills, and the people that hire them to bring them on think, and high emphasis on think, that they can translate what they were doing at a previous job into their new position. It happens so much, and a lot of times it does not end up working out, and then you're just cycling through like the same people. A lot of these corporate jobs, people are just jumping from position to position, and it's not like fresh new faces coming in the majority of the time. Sometimes, yes, internal hires do come in that haven't been in the position before, but a lot of times it's like the big wigs. They're all just going from job to job. They're all just going from job to job. A lot of tech billionaires with obsession with birth rates. Why Elon got 12? Yeah, they do. So, Asha, my advice to you is, if you said that you're going to bring back Xbox, please explain what that means, because I'm thinking that you're saying, hey, we are going to bring back the exclusives and or bring some fresh new IPs into the ecosystem of Xbox and Microsoft. But it's such a blanket statement. I need you to really ask people, especially Xbox fans, what do they want? Because I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, people are going to be like, hey, y'all need to go back to making the exclusive. I said on the pod, though, I don't think that Halo, Forza, and Gears of War is going to move the needle anymore. Like, I brought back Fable after so long, and we don't know how that's going to be. But y'all need to get some fresh new IPs in there. Y'all need to get some fresh new IPs. What's the point of gobbling up all these studios if you're not going to give us anything new? I'm tired of seeing all the same stuff over and over and over and over. Like, we got to do something new here. We have to do something new. And if you're I mean, you've been all about the games in your recent conferences. You've been all about the games. Y'all realize that the Xbox One, when y'all introduced that and y'all kept talking about TV instead of video games, nobody wants to hear that crap. So y'all said, hey, we're just going to show y'all the games. Every time we have a conference, we're just going to show y'all the games, and then that's it. If we have something new to announce hardware-wise, then yeah, we'll talk about that, but we're not going to harp on it talking about these other features. So show us the games. Show us games that people care about. I think it's time to finally put to rest y'all previous big three. I don't think that it has that staying power anymore. I don't think it has that big bang that it once had, especially because y'all tainted it by putting it over on Sony. Y'all brought it over to the op. So I think Halo is done. I think Gears is done. We're gonna see what happens with E-Day, but I think Gears is gonna be done. It's time to be done with that. Forza is the only thing that I can say to continue because it's racing. But we need something new to come into the forefront to take over and bring that identity back to Xbox. It needs to have an identity again and not just be a place where your exclusives can go to other places. It sucks, man. It just sucks. Again, from a consumer standpoint, I'm like, bro, like y'all need to do something. Y'all need to do something because y'all are literally like soulless at this point. So we need to truly figure out what this ecosystem is going to look like from an exclusive standpoint to keep people into the ecosystem and not have them say, hey, well, in a couple years or 6 months or something, this game's going to come over to the PlayStation. You know, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. So do that. Ask people what they truly want and listen to them and actually take heed. If anybody tells you to keep doing the same stuff that y'all been doing, don't. Second or third or fourth, this AI stuff, don't bring in any features that that's not about gaming. Okay, don't bring in any features not about gaming. We already talked about the highlight feature. Nobody asked for that crap. This Copilot stuff, I know y'all been pushing this Copilot stuff. Y'all need to stop with this. Copilot is going to help play games for you. Nobody wants that. So I know that your expertise is in AI. Don't prove everybody wrong with this AI stuff. Please do not prove everybody wrong with this AI stuff. The only thing the AI should be helping with is the performance of whatever console platform that you are using to play said games. That should be the only thing the AI should be helping with. Should not be helping with anything else, to be honest. So I want you to prove people wrong. Don't prove people right. Don't prove people right. And lastly, play some damn games. Play some damn games, because we don't want you coming to the situation just like, hey, I don't even play the games that we're making. That doesn't make any sense. What up, Jace? What up, Jace? The tired gen that hasn't grown up on the OIP. They gotta move on. Exactly. It's time to move on. I mean, we're they're beloved franchises, but it's not a Mario. It's not a Sonic. You gotta move on. So I should play some games. You know, maybe live stream or something, like show that you're actually playing these games and engaging with the community. The one thing, and I've said this before on the podcast, the one thing that I feel Xbox has always had over Sony is there have always been those faces that have been in the forefront. Phil Spencer was a great example of people who was like down to earth, who truly seemed like they cared about the people, regardless of what decisions he made or was responsible for. Phil seemed like he was a genuine person that cared about gaming, and Xbox has had that face for a long time. Before Phil, there was Major Nelson. Okay, again, I don't know if I'm aging myself out, but Major Nelson was that face of Xbox for a long time. Nintendo had the faces with Reggie Fils-Aimé. So Sony didn't really have that. What up, Megas? Sony has never really had that. They make great franchises, and maybe they felt like throughout the way, we don't need to have any faces out here. We don't care about that. Like, everybody's just gonna be in the background, and we're just gonna make these decisions and make these games. But I feel like having a down to earth person who seems like they care about the people and not just about the bottom line is very important. So I don't want you to back into obscurity and act like you can't speak to anybody. Again, I appreciate the attempt of you going on Twitter and responding to people, especially people you don't know. I seen you responding to some questionable people, so the grifters. So watch out for them. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Watch out for the grifters, because they gonna tell you a new a-hole. They gonna tell you a new a-hole. So watch out for them. I said, what up, Dart? So he said, stuck in the blizzard. Dang. Shout out to Way Too Chill for the follow. AC Show, appreciate you for the follow over on the kick side. So that's my advice to you, Asha. I wish you the best. I really hope that you can prove everybody wrong. But if y'all come into the do whatever that y'all do, if y'all come into the stage or do it remote and have some pre-recorded stuff, and y'all mention AI, especially you're done. You're done. Nobody wants to hear that. Do not mention AI. I don't care if you go blue in the face. Do not mention AI in anything involving Xbox and its games. Just show the games. Show your new console when it's ready, and let it be that. Okay, let it be that. What up, Lunch Pack? What up? What up? So that's my advice. That's my advice. I went on a long diatribe, but that's it. Again, I wish you luck, Asha, in all your endeavors. And I don't want Xbox to die. I won't say that again. I don't want Xbox to die. I don't want it to. I think it's end up going to taking the Sega route. And again, y'all heard it on the pod. Ethos said it, but I've said this sentiment. I don't think that a new console was needed for Xbox. I think that especially if they're going to continue down this route, I just want y'all just to be like a software. Like just make the game. I mean, you could be a Sega at this point. Y'all have franchises, y'all have studios that can make some good games. So just do it. Just do it. But at the end of the day, people want the console. So, who am I to say, hey, they shouldn't do that anymore? But if they come up with this new console, I want this to be the last one. Them and Sony too. I want this to be the last. Right? Sony may have a little bit more leeway, but Xbox, I think this needs to be it for them. Don't make any more consoles. Just be done with it. All right, moving on. Last bit of gaming news. The original Saints Row designer believes that the series is dead after publisher ghosts him. Dang. Chris Stockman says Embracer Group. Hey, Embracer Group is just. Ooh. I can't say anything positive about them. Can't say anything positive about Embracer Group. But they said they gave him the cold shoulder after requesting his pitch. Sheesh. The original Saints Row was an unexpected hit, rising above the tide of urban sandboxes in 2006. The game pushes tomfoolery further with didn't even Grand Theft Auto dare. The most recent entry, however, was a misfire. 2022's reboot was busted from a technical standpoint and tonally out of sync for fans. Last year, rumors arose that the series might get another shot. Shout out to Sega coming through the 73 months. What up? And they said that Chris Stockman, design director for the original game, now said that the long-running Saints Row has a fork in it. I think the franchise is dead, unfortunately. I get the sense that Embracer has zero ability to do anything with it. They're not going to. They're not going to. I mean, I think that's pretty much done, especially after the last one, which I wasn't excited for, but I thought it was gonna be better than that, man. That Saints Row was terrible, basura. Though Stockman has been with Saints Row developer Volition for years, he claimed last November that Embracer Group approached him to help with a course correction for the franchise. So he's saying that they are trying to do it. The pictures he described it was a Saints Row prequel set in the 1970s. Interesting. I'm gonna feel about a Saints Row prequel in the 1970s. Do you think that gamers would like that? I don't know. It's interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to it doing a prequel in the 1970s. Okay. This new setting could have done a more balanced job of giving Saints Row a desperately needed fresh coat while affording itself ample opportunities for a signature buffoonery. Okay. The promising as it was, it did not get very far. Only a few months later, Stockman now believes that he got ghosted by Embracer, and that's probably the end of the road for Saints Row 20-year joy. Dang, Saints Row been out for 20 years. Sheesh. I wish things were different, he wrote. While it's since been the norm, Embracer Group were one of the earlier conglomerates who got into the practice of hoovering up. Yeah, I mean, similar to what Microsoft been doing. They just gobbling up a bunch of game studios. And doing nothing good with them. So they toured around with Gearbox, Crystal Dynamics, CHQ. Yeah, so they did all that, man. Just terrible. So Embracer Group is just bad. They're just bad. So that's that. I don't know if we'll ever see another Saints Row, especially if Embracer Group is just ghosting Stockman and not doing anything with it, but could have been interesting. Again, I mentioned on the pod, I'm talking about like there have probably been so many game concepts that have been pitched that these groups have just said no to. I'm like, nah, we good. We don't want to do that. What about that live service game over there that we were talking about? Blue Point closing down. We're like, oh, what that live service game? That's all I seem to care about, but nothing else. There are probably so many ideas that like could have been good, but they didn't get the green light. And so many games that have gotten the green light and so much money and resources put into it that ultimately just end up not coming out, or they do come out, they end up flopping immediately, and then y'all just wasted $100+ million. Like, man, that's just a lot of money, man. Like, these games are expensive, but to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a video game just for it to flop immediately, it must be a huge blow, bro. Must be a huge blow. I couldn't imagine blowing $100+ million. Like, man, I've probably never seen that amount of money in my lifetime, let alone like y'all just spending money just to waste it like that. Crazy, man. Crazy. All right.